Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Michael Nadorf. I'm the Director of Clinical Training at Mississippi State University. And so normally I give this talk at the start of the interview day, but obviously this year's a little different, as you'll see throughout the presentation. But it still has a lot of information we want to make sure that you had. So I thought it would be something good to send to you now, despite some of the wonkiness that you'll see, to give you a better sense of the program, what it looks like, who we are, and what we do here. So this is normally when I talk about this is winter in Mississippi and talk about the weather, because by the time you come out in February, usually it's really good weather. And there's this magical week, mid to late February, where all the trees just bloom like this picture. It's just amazing. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. And so I can't really say that. You'll have to Google the weather in Mississippi right now. But for many of you, it's going to be, a nice change compared to what you're used to. Um, but it's a beautiful place to be. It's a fun place to be. And we're in a small town. It's a college town, about well over 20,000 people in the town, and then about doubles once school's in session. Sports loving town because we're in the SEC. So our sports are often good in many sports, not great, especially football. The joke is that if you come here, you'll get to see the very best teams in the nation. They don't play for, the athletes don't play for us, but you'll still get to see them because we play Alabama, LSU, so many, Florida, Georgia, so many great teams. So a couple sports going on right now at the time of recording this. Women's basketball is number 12. We've gone to the Final Four, in recent years. Always a fun thing to watch as time goes on. College baseball, the ranking isn't really accurate because that was last year's ranking as of when they shut down baseball due to COVID. Normally I have a current ranking, but there are fun sports to go to and things to do in town and on campus. So I like to share that. Again, there's a lot of university spirit in town. You'll see little paw prints all over the place. They're on a lot of the trash dumpsters for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that is, but it's fun to have a town that's so uniformly behind the team and where the university and town relations are really good. Another thing you'll notice is Mississippi has the lowest cost of living of any state in the union. And, that's, I think, really a notable thing because a lot of these places, a lot of your stipend goes towards living expenses. And ultimately, to be successful, a lot of times you'll see the same four walls of your lab, no matter if you live in New York or if you live in Mississippi. So there is a pro to being in a low cost of living place for grad school. I went to West Virginia, it's very similar, setup, and it's something I appreciated there. Your stipend just goes a lot farther. So it just one of the things that I think makes us stand out. So the purpose of the interview is really, it's all about fit. Everyone that we invite for interviews qualified. It's the vast minority of people that we invite to this stage. So the majority of people will not get this invitation. And so you're qualified. And with that, we're not trying to grill you to see if you're qualified. We've already made that determination. And really, it is all about fit. Fit with the lab, fit with the mentor. That's the sort of thing that we're trying to judge on our side. So we want you to be able to, be open-minded, explore, fit with even several labs. Many of us do complementary research, so it's okay to think of, what lab may you fit with. And if it's not the one you had thought coming in, that's okay. Ultimately, we know that the mentor-mentee relationship is super important in grad school. So we want to make sure that you have as strong of a fit and relationship as possible. So to help accomplish this, on this website, you'll see a couple different things. Faculty and lab videos, and most of the faculty will have contributed videos. I'm still waiting on some, so there may be some gaps, but I'll post them as I get them from faculty. But hopefully they'll give you a sense of who we are and what we're like. And so we have that so you can select which faculty and which labs you'd like to meet with. And then we'll work with you on scheduling those times so that you're able to meet with prospective mentors. And we'll also ask you coming in who you think your primary mentor, who's the person you're primarily hoping to work with, and have you meet with that person at the beginning and the end. Now, again, this can change. So, yeah, if we need to make a change on that, like if you fall in love with a certain lab or mentor and we need to change the end interview, that's totally fine. Just keep in touch with me. My email's at the end, so I'll be sure you have that. But just let us know, and we'll accommodate for that. And then after we finish with the interviews, so probably towards the end of February, I'll email with updates on our status. So, couple points of pride for the program. So our program's actually still pretty young, even though pretty soon I'm not going to be able to say that. But our program was established in 2014 out of a long-standing clinical psychology master's program. And that's part of the reason we're able to get so quickly to accreditation. So we were first accredited in 2016 by APA. We are fully APA accredited. Our next site visit is supposed to be this year, though APA is a little bit behind on site visits, as you may have heard due to COVID. So with that, I'm not sure when the site visit will actually happen. Our self-study's already been submitted for reaccreditation, but APA will get to us when they get to us, and that's totally okay. We've had a lot of success. We've matched all of the students that we've had go through our program, going back to our initial year, and so we're very proud of that. Our initial year, we had 2 students go to an unaccredited internship site, but ever since that, every student has gone to an APA accredited internship site. We're a full member of CudCup. I'm not sure if you've heard about CudCup. We'll talk about them a little bit more as we go along. But most of your clinical science and scientist practitioner PhD programs are members of CudCup. It's where we can all share resources, information, and make sure that we're all in line with best practice. And overall, we've graduated 17 students. Most of them are, well, yeah, a lot are in postdocs. I won't even say most, because actually most, I would say now, are in permanent positions. We have at least 3 alums or current interns that are either in faculty positions or have accepted faculty positions. And, of course, this is always evolving, as this is the time that actually faculty interviews are happening and faculty applications are going now. So hopefully we'll have more updates on that as we go. But, our students have done very well. Of our core faculty, so these are those that devote at least 50% of their time to the program. You can see those names. We also have affiliated faculty. Really, there's not a huge difference, from your perspective between these two. It's more an APA rule. But long story short, both core and affiliated faculty are able to accept clinical psychology students. So those are the people that are able to accept doc students. Core affiliated faculty have published at least 55 publications in the last year, so we are very active as a faculty research-wise. We have 8 of our faculty, either core or affiliated, that have current grant funding, and 6 of us have had over $1 million in external grant funding. So our faculty have, in addition to starting up a new program, been very active and very successful as far as grants and scholarship. I always like to also mention some of the awards that our faculty have won. Dr. McKinney got a college level mentoring award. Dr. Weiner won an APS Rising Star Award, as well as a college level research award. And I won the Early Career Award from the Society of Behavioral Sleep Medicine. So again, you have faculty that are active in research, that are recognized in their field and by the college and university. Very strong clinical training. Our clinic has provided over 1,000 direct service hours in the last year. And we have a good number of practicum sites for a program our size. Actually, we have several practicum sites every year that don't have students. So we have more sites than we need, but with it gives us a good variety of clinical experiences. So as you see, a good number offer inpatient services. We have a growing number of child sites. We have University of Mississippi Medical Center, which is a great child training program. We have inpatient substance treatment for adults and adolescent boys. And we have one VA medical center. It is in Memphis, so it's quite a drive, but that experience is available. We also have, I think, very good research training. So we try to be responsive to students, and in recent years, we've offered an SEM and network analysis course as part of student requests, and we hope to offer more advanced stats courses on the horizon, and I'm happy to tell you more about this if you meet with me, or shoot me an email. I'm happy to tell you more. I think one point of pride is our comps exam. So our comps exam is also known as the manuscript submission exam. And what you have to do is you have to submit a first author publication for, or first author manuscript for publication, get feedback on it, and respond to the feedback. So with it, our comps often result in publications. And with that, it's nice because it means that your comps isn't a waste of time. In so many programs, the comps are something that, in addition to being a big hurdle, it's something that gets in the way of student progress. So you have to, take time aside to work on and to focus on, and it's not productive. Here, it's very much productive comps. And then with this, because of this, the majority of our students have published before they've applied for an internship, which is undoubtedly part of why we've been so successful with matching our students for internship. So we worked on a 4+1 model. So this means that you spend 4 years on campus here and 1 year on internship. And this is getting to be more common. It used to be rather uncommon, but you're seeing more and more of it as the internship imbalance has done better, which is good. And we also worked on a scientist practitioner model. So what that means is that we have a pretty equal emphasis on both science and practice training, and we train you equally to be both a clinical scientist as well as a clinical practitioner, which is good because that's what clinical psychologists do, as many of us have some of both roles. So going back to that 4+1 model, this is really important. Again, it's something that helps us stand out because a lot of programs are longer, and I don't believe they have notably better outcome data, to warrant it. And a lot of times students don't think or don't know that makes that big of a difference. If you stay an extra year, it's just another year on stipend instead of making an intern salary. And it doesn't feel like it should be that big of a difference, but I like to illustrate how big it is. So say, if you're looking at someone completing grad school anywhere between 4 and 7 years on campus, and then they complete an internship and a 2-year postdoctoral fellowship. These stipend levels for each are a little bit low. It's been a couple years since I've run these stats, but it's ballpark. And then you get a job that pays $80,000 after postdoc. That's actually right around the mean for a psychologist, with 3% annual raises, which is also national average. and you retire at age 65. So what difference does this make monetarily? Well, the thing is that, people don't realize, you're not actually losing just a year of internship salary versus your stipend. You're actually losing a year at the end of your career when you make the most each year you stay. And it impacts those annual raises that compound. So it makes a huge difference. And I'm a nerd and I figured it out. Now you'll notice this says $10,000. It's an older screenshot, but I did update it with the numbers that we talked about. And what you see, if you look at total years or total amount earned and the difference of each additional year you stay costs you a little bit over $200,000 in lifetime earnings. That's huge. And to help illustrate it, the house on the right was on the market for right around $218,000 in the area. So that's 1 year of staying extra. That's the house you could buy. And if you stay 3 years extra, the house on the left is from the area for about $600,000. So that's 3 extra years of staying in grad school. That's the difference it makes. That's notable. So I think it's worth knowing about it, and I want you to know about it because as you make this decision on which program to go to, do look at how long the students are there. It makes a huge difference. And look at if it really, look at it in relation to the outcomes and see, are those students significantly more successful because they stayed those extra years? Some commonly asked questions: what does our funding look like? So our students, I shouldn't say contracts here, that's technically their agreements, but anyway, students are in 12-month agreements with stipends that are at least $13,000 a year. We try to do better right now. Our stipends are actually at $14,000, but I try to underpromise and overproduce, and especially with all things COVID right now, I want to underpromise and hopefully overproduce. So at least $13,000 a year. Our students are commonly funded through TA or RA placements. Usually your first year you're on a TA, and you're usually teaching as an IOR, so as you're teaching your own class during your later years. The difference would be if you have a faculty member with grant funding, they may choose to fund you off a grant as an RA instead of fund you as a TA. And our tuition waiver is weird. I'll just be honest with you. We will waive 71% of in-state tuition, and the remainder gets charged at the in-state rate. Ultimately, it ends up being about $1,200 per semester you have to pay. So it's wonky. I just like you to be aware of that coming, from the get-go. But it's around, there aren't that many fees in addition to it, so it's around $1,200 per semester you have to pay in fees and tuition. And feel free to ask our students about that, and I can help you with figuring out exactly what it is if you need more information on that. So I alluded to this briefly earlier, but what happens after you interview? So the CTC will meet to discuss all of our initial offers, and I'll make those offers. And for anyone on the wait list, I will tell you your relative place in the wait list. That'll be one of three things. It'll be, if I say you're high priority, that means in an average year, you would end up likely getting an offer of admission. If you're medium or moderate, that means in an average year, there's a 50-50 shot that you'd probably get an offer of admission with where you are on the list. And if you're low priority, it means on an average year, you probably would not get an offer, but it's possible, and that's why you're on the wait list. You have until April 15th to decide and to let us know. We follow the cut rules on this. So what that means is once we make an offer, the offer is official. A verbal offer is just as official as a written offer. And with it, once we make an offer, we can't either take it back or change the financial terms until after April 15th. So it gives you time to, if you want to look at other programs, if you're weighing different things, you have the time to do that. The thing that we asked, and this is also a TED-Cup request, is please, 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 please do not hold more than one offer at a time. So when you get a second offer, when it comes in, look at them next to each other, figure out which one you like better, drop the one you don't like. This is a huge favor to the training programs because it helps admissions keep moving. So we're not waiting on someone that's holding a bunch of offers and holding a bunch of people hostage on the wait list. So, well, for me in my role, it's always a bummer when I have a student that's not coming, but I will greatly take and appreciate it. And, if I give you an offer and you turn it down, quickly, that's fine. Like, I'm not angry. I am very appreciative because it helps us move through our process. It helps us get our class in place. So it's really a favor to us. So, don't feel bad if you do turn down our offer. Hopefully you don't. But with that, as soon as you're able to let us know, it really is a huge favor to us. And that's all I have. I meant to put my email on here, but you've already got emails from me. But M as in Mike, N as in Nancy, 487 at msstate.edu is my email address. Feel free to email me any questions you have about the program. And I look forward to talking to you more soon.